Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first exit interview of Season 4 mini Sahara Dunes. We are joined with Matt, the first boot of the season, and as always, Lilly, queen of the question. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Matt, have you had time to reflect on your on your
Yeah.
performance here? Time to
Yeah,
calm down.
I calmed down a bit. I reflected. I knew it was something that was literally out of my control, and obviously, how could they target anyone else but me? In terms of what I did. So I mean, I tried. I did what I tried to do, but here we are. Here we are.
If you follow,
It's got to be someone.
yeah, if you
Yep.
follow Matt on Instagram, about a couple months ago, he did an Instagram story of "I hate these cards" or something like that, and I'm like, yes,
We'll see why. Now we know why. I can finally reveal why I hate those cards.
yes.
So we've kind of covered a little bit about the challenge, but before going into it, when you first get in and you see everybody, how are you feeling about who was on your tribe during the strategy before the challenge and everything?
Yeah, I honestly, before the challenge, felt really good because I'm fairly experienced with these things. I was in a couple orgs and did some minis beforehand, so I already knew that I had a strong social gameplay, and I get along with pretty much everyone. So I immediately knew looking at who was on my tribe, just like judging by like how old everyone looked and like how we all pretty much could. I could always find ways to find similar interests with anyone that I meet. So instantly, I was like, I think I'm gonna be good. I can lay low, and nothing's gonna happen. And then the challenge happened.
Then it happened. Yeah.
Then it happened.
It is. I'm glad you brought that up because you do have a very charismatic personality. I mean, that's why we were so excited to get you in and watch you play because we thought, you're going to go a long way, but it
Mhm.
seems that as we'll get to it.
The
But
cards fell how they did.
yeah,
They
they
did.
did. So we get to that challenge and we see your first up.
Mhm.
How was that decided that you would be first? And did you want to do that part or were you leaning towards the puzzle?
Yeah, so I automatically knew I suck at puzzles. So I
Mm.
was like, I immediately, no one else was volunteering, and I'm the type of person to take initiative. I'm the type of person to be like, hey, I'll volunteer, I'll go first, let's get it over with, because I want to be that leader. And I automatically was like, okay, this is gonna be easy. Like Robbie beforehand was going over strategies and like, let's fold the cards, just place your cups this way, and people were discussing how to do it. And I was like, all right, cool. We just have to fold the cards a little bit. I'm gonna be done. That's it, and then I'll be safe. And no,
Boy, were you not.
I was not correct at all. But you know what? I will say this: like I kept going. I tried. I didn't want to
Yeah.
give up for my team, and just that's just not how I am as a person. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep this going, and if I keep failing, then I'm gonna eventually finish. That was my mindset. Even though internally, especially in front of people I have never met in my life, even though Robbie thought I knew someone, I didn't know anybody going into this at all. And so I'm literally fucking up. And like, wait, can I say the f bombs or do I have to censor myself?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm like literally fucking up over and over, and then y'all are like announcing like, oh, he's messing up again. Oh, he's got to
We have
start
to
over.
commentate.
I know you do, and I'm like, motherfucker, I get it. Like, and so internally, I'm like, man, I'm fucking this up. Watch me be first boot. But I'm like, you know what? We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. And then I watched the episode last night, and then it was funny because I think Madeline said, it's like, I felt so bad for Matt struggling, but then all of a sudden when I did it, it was so easy. And I'm like, girl, Madeline, it was not easy. You did not go first. So and the thing is, they were okay, from my standpoint, I get they were trying to help me, but like maybe people were saying things like every 3 minutes. It was just like I felt
I cut out I'd say at least 20 minutes of that challenge.
Well, good thing you did. It was 20 minutes.
It was a very long, very, very long challenge. So not only were you messing up, we had Tweedledee and Tweedledum and Erik and Landon in the puzzle. Like, your torture could have been over a lot sooner if they had just finished the puzzle too.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it, but like, yeah.
Yeah. Here we are.
I think, Matt, you also hit it on the head, right? The first challenge, you don't know everyone, right? So people see you struggling, but they feel like they can't chime in. So it does kind of feel like everyone's sitting there watching and no one is helping. And I think on the production side, that was the hardest because I didn't know what was going wrong. I'll tell you, I would have been in the same boat as you. But other people were like, oh, it's the way his cards were laying. And even in their, things, they're saying, oh, it's this or that. And I'm like, well, you could have just...
think that's, at least on our side of things, I think you realize the way the cards are laying after seeing it run a couple of times. So like you want to start from the end where the open mouth cup and place the cards back so that it's more of a ramp or I forget what way it is. I'd have to see it visually, but
I have no idea.
So you're not like facing against the cards. You're not trying to like bat the cards. There's a strategy.
Yeah.
There is, yeah. But it's, and you're right. Sometimes it just happens. These challenges, and I think even Danny said it, like, because you're bad at this one doesn't mean you're going to be bad at the next one. So it's hard it was hard for me to watch when you lost, you own up to it. You're like, I know I didn't play well. I know my neck's on the chopping block. And I'll say this every exit interview. Somebody says that, don't say that. I'm like, no, don't give them an out.
Yeah, but also I feel like with this one, especially, like, there was no other way he could have handled it, I feel.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
With some of them in like last season with Ricky, like I feel some people could have been like, all right, so where are we voting, instead of like, yeah, I know that I messed up, but like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So as you're struggling, were you thinking, how am I going to get through this vote? Did that cross your mind, or were you on the challenge?
I was focused on the challenge at this point. My main goal was like, I just need to finish this challenge and then we will deal with getting voted out afterwards. And I was hoping that because they were taking super long with the puzzle on the other tribe, I was hoping to God that we would have won somehow, so that I would have been able to use my social prowess to like create more bonds and to last longer at the end. Because I'll be upfront, like if I were able to talk to people before the challenge, or at least have some time, then I more than likely would have survived the vote, for sure. So it was just an unfortunate circumstance, and for someone who has experience like me, it was also a good curveball because that's never happened to me before. So it definitely humbled me. When in fact I do have to want to go back and play one of these games, or eventually get on one of those shows in real life. I'll be more prepared to be like, okay, this can happen. What can I do to
how do I
overcome this hurdle? Yeah, exactly.
That's a great, like, positive way to look at it.
Yeah. Sure. I always say, like, every game you play is a learning experience for the next one. So like you gain the knowledge of how to either play differently or to adjust, or, oh, like I played this game, they had a similar challenge. Like there's ways to improve with every game you play, even if it's a first boot versus a final tribal council.
Yeah, for sure. So we get to the scrambling, and thank goodness you're ready to hop into another room, right? You want
bless people like you.
So you get in there with John at first, and I think Robbie hops in. What are you thinking? Are you waiting for them to throw a name out? Are you willing to throw anybody's name out?
Yeah, I was waiting for people overall to just come and do something, but I felt like everyone else that didn't hop in was like, well, we already know who we're voting for, so we're just gonna chill. And because I get it, we want to love and talk to people, and we were getting to know one another at that round, but I'm like, we're literally going into tribal, but I don't want to be the asshole and be like, we need to, I don't want to be like, because I can be an asshole when I absolutely need to, but I already knew coming into it, I already had that target on my back, so I wanted to just be like, hey, like as a teacher myself, I always like to give clues to my students. I'm like, maybe we should do this, and they go right. And so, Robbie and John were the ones who came in, and they were the people who lost the challenge. So we really couldn't do anything. But I pretty much threw out a name because they weren't either. And unfortunately, I threw out Alanis' name just because I was like, with my experience with previous minis, it was all about just like throwing that name out there, like anybody but me strategy. And I literally was trying to do that. I'm like, well, we should just let's throw it on Alanis just because I don't know what to do because we really didn't have time to connect.
First in the alphabet.
Yeah, exactly. Like Survivor one. Like, it's like, and so it was just like I couldn't really pick up on some personality traits that I could have used against someone because again, we were getting to know each other, but you could clearly sense that was in the room. People were just like, oh, I have kids. Oh, I'm from so-and-so. I do this. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, clearly they're voting me out because they're not saying anything to me. So.
We also get that really great moment. You're in confessional and they're all in the same room together. And then you come back from confessional into that room and they're like, yeah.
Yep. And I got that immediately. I was like, they were saying my name. Like it was just the writing was on the wall and I did what I could do in that moment to try to save my ass. And again, it is
you don't succeed.
I know it literally was that. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna hop into a room. That's what I wanted to do, and I did what I needed, and unfortunately it didn't work out, but hey, all good.
Yeah. You tried and you gave it your all, and that's all we can ask for over here on Dynamic Character Productions. Just go in, give it your all, even if the writing is on the wall. Don't ever quit because you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you consider throwing Kylie's name out? We saw her with a couple technology issues, and we even see Jon say, it's frustrating. I'm frustrated. Do you think if you had caught on to that it might have caught steam? Or
I wish I caught on to that. I think my brain was like so focused on throwing just a random name out there that I didn't even consider because I was already thinking, crap, I sucked. So that's one thing that's filling in my head. And two, I was like in fight or flight mode at that point where I wasn't even considering other factors. Like looking back, I more than likely would have thrown Kylie's name out. But then ultimately I knew too that I personally don't want to throw a female's name out, but I did with Alanis, so I couldn't think of like what else to do. And so unfortunately, I more than likely probably would have thrown her name out to save my butt if someone either brought that up in front of me or if I actually had more capacity to think outside of the other factors that were putting me in this situation for sure.
I mean, you really weren't thinking clearly because your head was just all like, I just messed up. What do I do?
Yeah, like let's try to get out of this. Let's get a name out. Someone else talk to me. Come on, come into my room. Like no one was coming in. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that must be. Was there somebody you were hoping would come in that you thought you might be able to connect with better or most?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, when Jon said he was a musician from New York, I automatically was like, man, he could be someone I could work with because we have such a commonality with, because I used to live in New York. I'm an actor, and we're in similar scenes. So that's someone who I thought I could have worked more with if I lasted longer. And we were bringing up Kylie as well, unfortunately with her technology, but in terms of like her personality from like the get-go, I probably would have also worked well with her as well. So I'd say like Jon and Kylie for sure.
I could see that really working out well. I wish we could have seen it. Maybe
alliance that never happened.
Yeah.
Dang. We would have been strong. I feel like in something for sure.
You could have
Survivor
divided
shoulda,
and
coulda, wouldas.
Yeah.
Next season coming at you.
I think I just have one more question at the end, but if we have Facebook questions.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Ooh.
So, I think this is one just big comment from Celestina, but Celestina says, I love you so much, my friend. I'm super proud of you for taking a stab at this game. While you may have been the first boot, you made me proud. I applaud you for actually going into different breakout rooms and trying to make something happen. You're a bright light, and I think people recognize that in the game. You kept your composure, and you will always be a legend in my book. Much love. Thanks for repping Seattle.
I love Celestina. Do y'all know how we met, by the way?
No.
Okay, so there's a Seattle Survivor Association group that watches Survivor on Wednesdays at like this local bar in Seattle. And so I met her through that. And then not only did I find that we had this connection with Survivor, but we also love Miss Universe, the Miss Universe pageant. And so we had a Miss Universe draft a month ago, and we are just obsessed with beauty queens and all that. And she referred me to y'all. And before this, like the last mini org I played was 6 months before this, so I was pretty much I pick and choose what games I play now, just because I'm busy with full-time work and getting my master's and acting when I can. So so whatever, I trust her judgment, and she's just such bright light herself, and I'm very, very thankful for having her in my life for sure.
Yeah, see how
thank you, Celestina.
If you want to see how wholesome Celestina is, season 3, Iriki Islands. That's where you can catch Celestina. So then we have Miss Kylie asking a question. Matt, you're awesome, and you were so much fun to play with. I hate that our time together was cut short. Since you've played games like this before, why did you choose to lie about your experience and say you were a newbie? What benefit were you hoping that would play in your game?
Yeah, so I had to lie, obviously, at that point. Well, one, I fucked everything up, so they're like, how is this veteran fucking this shit up right away? One. Two, everyone, when we're finally together, we're being timid as fuck and saying, oh, we're all new. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to say that I'm a veteran, because that'll make my target even bigger at this point. Yeah. If we won the challenge, I probably would have said I was a veteran for sure, because I wouldn't have been voted out. And then my strategy would have been, maybe they could use me as a meat shield for a bit to save me some time. Because I think a lot of people tend to utilize the Jeremy Collins meat shield method, and especially when they want to protect themselves. And that would have been something I would have said after that first challenge for sure. But in the moment, with the target already on my back and everyone saying they were new, I mean, there was really no point in me saying, hey, I'm a veteran too. I've played and done pretty well in some of these games. So, I mean, it was like, ding, ding, ding. Let's definitely get them out now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could see with you saying that, hey, I'm a veteran, is maybe I can help strategize for the next challenge. I might know something or know an aspect about the next challenge. But even then, it's just we'll figure it out. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then the last thing is from Eric. Hey, Matt, huge bummer we didn't get to cross paths this season at all during because your experience was cut short. You were a delight and a blast to watch, even if it was just the first episode.
Aw, Eric, I get to know him.
I know, even people that don't know you or weren't on Try With You wanted to play with you, and I think that really speaks to your personality and your charisma. But I do like to ask this question at the end of every exit interview. If you could sum up your game in one word, what would it be and why?
One word, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cards. Fuck those cards.
Yeah. Even better. Yeah.
There's a hyphen. There's multiple hyphens.
It's just all smushed together. That's how I see it.
Yep.
Well, Matt, thank you for joining us. It was a blast talking to you and getting to know a little bit more insight into how you were trying to claw your way out of that challenge. But as for Dynamic Character Productions, we put out videos pretty much daily. So episodes drop Monday and Thursday, exit interviews Wednesday and Saturday, and recaps on Sundays. We're also on like every social media platform, so go follow us there. We have a Facebook page where you can ask our Castaways questions. We have an Instagram, which has exclusive content. We post stories all of the time. We're even on TikTok and
What?
Twitter. So like
4?
yeah. So I don't think we're on LinkedIn yet, but like who knows?
Coming to you season 6.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that is it for Matt. Stay tuned for our next exit interview with the second boot of this season. Good night, everyone.